Hey friends, and welcome to my backyard. This is my first garden tour. I am a second-year gardener. I live in Zone 7B and in the middle of the city. I have about a half acre of property. And over the last 2 years, my garden has grown. My excitement, my understanding, my knowledge, skills have all improved over the last year. And largely thanks to other YouTubers, James Prigioni, Acre Homestead, Garden Answer, and many others, just giving tips and tricks that I've really benefited from. Ultimately, I'm hoping that I can also just kind of impart that kind of excitement about gardening and make people feel like, hey, this is something I could do too. We did recently take down a couple trees in the back that were kind of coming close to hitting our house if they did fall and getting old. And so we have a lot more area to be gardening, putting in a few fruit trees and bushes and that kind of thing this year. And so I just wanted to bring you guys along. Certainly I don't consider myself to be all knowledgeable about gardening, and so any information, recommendations that you have for me, I would greatly appreciate them. But yeah, let's go see my garden. So here is my first bed. It has our broccoli and our cauliflower, some lettuce, collards, and recently some peppers. We're trying to transition this bed over, and some kale plants back in the back. I'm really excited about our broccoli this time. Last year I bought starts from Lowe's and they capped out at around this size. They were tiny little things and they looked healthy enough, but they did not grow. From seed they seem to be doing better. Over here I've got my tomato beds. I've got two. So I've got pineapple tomatoes, black Krim, pink brandywine, Costaluto, San Marzano.
I love you.
I love you too. Chef Choice Orange. And I know that there are others, Mortgage Lifter, and others that I'm forgetting, but they looked really sad. Excuse my baby walking through here. Essentially, I started them 8 weeks ago and they looked really sad, so they have bounced back. They're nice and bright green, and they've shot up too. They're a good foot tall maybe. Here I put some fingerling potatoes I planted in 2 of these. I'm making another video regarding that. Here we have some sugar snap peas. I've got the purple variety so that we can find them easier this year. I do also have some of the green variety that I had left over from last year, but we love some sugar snap peas. More importantly, my boys love them, so we have packed them all around this garden, as you'll see. Here is the only kale plant that germinated from seed. This whole bed is from seed, where the rest were transplanted. But I've got carrots, more cauliflower, broccoli, carrots, some cabbages, lettuce, mizuna, radicchio, and some more kale plants. And over here, we've got more sugar snap peas, some onions along here, collards, broccoli, some more pepper plants, kale, some more kale, and some, oh goodness,
Squash.
not squash. What are these? Snow peas. Snow peas. My husband does not like sugar snap peas, so he wanted snow peas. So we're growing snow peas for Dad. And over here, I've got another kale and 3 broccoli plants. Not broccoli, Brussels sprouts. I have 3 Brussels sprouts over here, and they are supposed to be planted in fall in our zone, but I couldn't not try. And they've already gotten pretty big. My oldest grabbing a pea, which this is good. I want them to like vegetables, and I figure if we grow them, then they will eat them. So kind of the whole plan of this garden.
Can I get this guy?
You can have them. That's good job. Way to take it off. Here we've got our keyhole garden bed. This was the first one that we had that me and my husband built. I've got soft neck garlic on this side, and I've got hard neck garlic on that side. This garlic we started in winter, or last fall in October, and it is doing great. I really thought that it was going to fail since it had little shoots come up already in the fall. Thought I was gonna die in the winter, but it's done great. It's my pride and joy. He's still nice and green, and we're hoping that, crossing our fingers, that this is a good harvest. We're not as hopeful for these kind of sad looking soft neck garlics. I've got them interspersed everywhere because not all of my little bulbs came up. So we'll try again with soft neck next year, and I'll plant it, or this year I'll plant it in the fall. Here we've got some radishes, some more cabbage. And back here we've got some kale.
Can I eat this popsicle now?
Yeah. Some more sugar snap peas. And leeks. We have never really eaten leeks, but again, I like to try. I'm trying everything this year. New seeds, happy to try new things. And so far they're doing pretty well. I think they actually like the shade that these snap peas are giving off in the kale, because they seem to take off once these grew in. Cover. You can see this trellis here. We had this last year, and we grow a lot of our runner beans, cucumbers, and squash on here. I did just recently plant some of my cucumbers down here about 6 inches apart, and we did lose one, so I plucked that out and put in a nasturtium. Apparently that's a companion plant. I've got a lot to learn about that and how exactly that works, but maybe you guys can help me out with that. Inside the gate, we just have more broccoli, cabbage, kale, carrots, more cilantro back here, some arugula starting, some lettuce, some Swiss chard, kale, oregano, more garlic. Down here, this Swiss chard, we really finally figured out how we like Swiss chard, and that is not in the big leaves like this, although they're really pretty, but the smaller leaves, they taste like spinach and not quite as bitter. So that is really the only way we eat it. And down here, I've got carrot seedlings, which James Prigioni taught me to put cardboard or a wood block and until they sprout, and that has really helped. Finally, I'm getting good growth from these carrots. I do have a lot of pill bugs, or roly-polies as I call them, and I found out a couple days ago from Roots and Refuge that those pill bugs eat your seedlings, and here I was thinking that they were harmless, but it's not so. So I'm coming up with ways to get rid of them because they are all over my garden, and things do just up and disappear all of a sudden, and I think that they might be the culprit. Here's some oregano that's just taking over. I'm gonna have to cut that back, dehydrate some of it. Some more garlic, some more Swiss chard. I did take out a lot of the Swiss chard that looks just like this because I think it's bolted. And and maybe not as good. This is overwintered, so I guess I can't expect different. Some of my parsley also that I overwintered. Snapdragon plant that I overwintered just by putting some straw over it. Back here, I just started planting some of my hot peppers back here. I've got a lot more peppers to plant, but they're starting to perk up now. Some more curled leaf parsley, sugar snaps, and then my onions. And my onions are just a sad story, all bolting now. I planted them in the fall. And then when our spring came, it was cold and hot and cold and hot. And I'm pretty sure that's what has made all of these send out little bloom shoots. But they won't be wasted. We will find a way to use these. Maybe I'll even try Acre Homestead's onion top pesto. And more of my tomatoes, second bed. A lot of my onions down the middle, some cilantro that apparently is a spring plant. I've always been trying to grow it in summer, and it was so pitiful. So I almost gave up on it, but it turns out if you read the seed directions, you might actually learn something. So there's that. And I am going to essentially tie these up from a wood support about 6 feet above. That's how I did it last year, although I didn't try to do 2 rows, I just did 1, and so we'll see if it works this year. I wanted to be able to use all of my tomato plants that I started, which is far too many. And over here we've got some carrots and some turnips. Purple top white globe turnips. I've never had these either. We had some of our squirrels thin them out for us. I tell you, these squirrels run rampant in my garden overnight. As soon as the dog is inside, the squirrels come out to play, and they've dug up so many of my plants. And I'll take you over to the side bed. Here we are. I've got a few bulbs, flower bulbs, planted on the sides here that haven't come up yet or are just starting to come up. Some watermelon I've already planted, some marigold. Sadly, they have been stripped of all their leaves. I don't know what's doing this. So if anybody else does, please let me know. I don't think that this plant is gonna make it past these 2 flowers. Here are our onions, some more cauliflower, and some more cabbage. And then over here I've got a bunch of gladiolus along the back. My boys helped me plant those. Some more watermelon, some squash, more watermelon, and some ground cherries. And then over here I have strawberries. I know you're not supposed to let them flower the first year, and it is their first year, but I don't have a whole lot of self-control and can wait that long. So I'm letting them flower. Hopefully we'll just be really lucky and the plants will still do well. We will wait and see, and I'll let you know. If we have to replant this bed next year, that's okay. While we're on this side of the yard, I am going to show you my cherry tomatoes and some more squash that we planted along the back of our house. Sun Gold and Super Sweet 100, some zucchini, and some yellow squash again. Over here we've got our fig tree starting to come back to life. We did prune it back pretty well last year because I wanted to be able to see out of our windows here over the tree under the garden and the rest of the yard. It seems to be recovering nicely. Last year it did great for us. Here we've got more cherry tomatoes, Sun Gold, Super Sweet 100, peony plant, and I don't really know what this is, but it think it's a flower of sorts. We will see. Over here, I've got another peony coming up. I just planted that. Oh, and another one's coming up down here too. And some more cherry tomatoes on this side. All right, and I'll take you to the back. So back here will be the cut flower garden. Here I've planted our sunflowers, 3 different types. Over here we've got some gladiolus, and I believe this is another peony right here coming up. Excited about those. We've got the pink and then a white with a little bit of red on the petals. And I planted some little pickled cucumbers back here on this side and right in front of the zucchini here. Here on the other side of the fence, I planted some more, I don't know that you can see them here, but some more sunflowers. Some more of my tomatoes. I couldn't let these go to waste, even though I didn't have any more space in my tomato beds. And then back here, I've got our blackberry bush starts. I did try to do some raspberry bushes back here that I bought from Sam's, but unfortunately it didn't take. And what is supposed to be coming out of here, but obviously nothing that looks like raspberries. So I told a friend and she brought me all of these. And this is the thornless variety, which is great for us since my boys are so young and will definitely be wanting to be picking at these all the time. So, and then back here, this is where we are going to be planting some fruit trees, 2 apple trees right now that we've got. And I'm still trying to figure out what the best place is for them based on sun. And then over here, I'm gonna plant a lot of squash and other vining plants that just wanna take over. And lastly, I'll take you to the blueberry bed. On second thought, calling this a blueberry bed is a bit of a stretch. We still wanna put in plenty of mulch and get rid of this grass here. We bought these for like $4 each because they were essentially just little tiny sticks that didn't look very promising, but they've come back alive. And as you can see, the squirrels have been digging here, but probably can't count on a big blueberry harvest this year, but maybe it will surprise us. So that's all I've got for you. Hopefully this is my first video. I grossly underestimated how much time it takes to make a garden video. Who would have thought? But hats off to all of those out there that do this on a regular basis. Thank you for taking your time and for staying in there while I butchered this first one. And hopefully the videos will just get better and better as we go forward. Have a good day.